I never know what I'll find. But honestly, that's the best part. It might be something small, something forgotten, buried in the earth for decades or even centuries. But the second I uncover it, there's a rush, a thrill, because I know I've just brought a piece of the past back to life. Every discovery tells a story. Some are tied to history, others to lost treasure. But it's not just about the find. It's about the moment, that feeling, and sharing it with people who really understand the excitement. That's what makes this more than just a hobby. It's a passion, a connection, a community.
Thursday. It's 8 o'clock and it's the Big Detecting Show.
And it's Nicola White.
It most certainly is the Big Detecting Show. Good evening, Lady Martin. How the devil are you this evening?
I'm wonderful, thank you, darling. How are you?
I'm tired.
Yes.
I'm tired, but I'm all right.
He's always tired.
To warn everybody now, do get it up at stupid o'clock. To warn everybody now, Lady Martin may unfortunately disappear occasionally. Whenever a train goes past, it's knocking her internet out. So you may just end up with me for the time being. Unfortunately, we don't have any Mr. Gaylor tonight. He is in the wilds of Norfolk with 14 megabytes of internet speed. So he's not playing out tonight. We'll let him have a holiday, shall we? Who goes on holiday to bloody Norfolk in the wilds of February?
Do you know what? If you want to switch yourself off from the world, Norfolk is the next best place to say the Southwest. Definitely.
I've never been, but I would like to travel the Broads.
Yeah, the Broads are nice. They're interesting, but you've got to do it on a boat. It's just water. Everything's water.
That's what I mean. I'd like to do it on the Broads on a boat. Yeah. I've got an affinity with canals, you see, and there's reasons behind it. I'm from Ellesmere Port, where the National Boat Museum is.
Yeah.
And my mum's great aunt, I think. Yeah, great aunt or aunt. I know her as Auntie Ginny. She was a boatie, and that side of the family were boaties around the Shropshire Union and such like.
Yeah, tough.
So
when for anyone who doesn't know what they were, you want to explain what the boat people were?
The boaties basically lived on the Industrial Revolution in the UK was brought to us courtesy of canals throughout the UK. Especially in the north, we're riddled with canals, and they're absolutely fantastic to walk along and see the wildlife. But there's still people living on there now on boats, and in the past there was a big community of boaties who lived there, very much like gypsies, your old-fashioned Romany gypsies,
yeah, but it was
living on a boat.
Community, really, but they used to.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Anyway,
when she passed away, and my mum and dad went to clear the house. There's absolutely. Nigel White. I've not seen him in years. Nigel, I hope you're doing delightfully well. There was a massive collection of antiquity from the boats, which my mum and dad donated to the, it is now the National Boat Museum. So growing up, my primary school, we did a hell of a lot of stuff to do with canal boats and what have you. So I've got an affinity with boats. So it's something I would like to do. I would sink it and I would drown. However, I would like to do it. Shared chat. Yes, we can do shared chat tonight.
We've got loads of people in the chat and they've been saying hello for ages as well. The boat people were really interesting, and it was like a closed community. It was almost like a gypsy community. But they hauled coal from basically place to place. Anywhere that was in a big industry area, they had boat people hauling coal backwards and forwards. But and it's amazing heritage you have, and it's supposed to be an amazing museum. Its sister museum is in Gloucester, but I wouldn't advise going to the one in Gloucester. That was a bit of a disappointment when we went there. I was really keen.
Oh, the Ellesmere Port one, it's always been brilliant because you've still got all the old dock buildings up, which are now utilised by the museum. It's fantastic.
Yeah, I definitely recommend Gloucester.
I made the mistake once. Ellesmere Port to Chester is 7 miles. So we used to get the bus to Chester, spend all our money on sweets and chips, and then walk back to Ellesmere Port. There's direct routes, which are probably about 6 miles, but we decided, hey, that's a good idea. Let's walk down the canal back to Ellesmere Port, and the canal goes like that. So it took us about 8 hours.
Yeah, That's actually quite a long walk, though. Anyway, we've got Philip Wills in. We've got Andrew T. Hi, Andrew. How's
not worth doing that, is it? Because there's like a million people chatting.
Well, a few people in the chat. We're going to say hello to Stephen, obviously,
hi, everyone.
Charlie, and also Dean and John Clayton. And Jim's in, and Jim Malden is looking forward to going detecting near a castle in Essex. And I just thought it was random because his name is Malden and Malden is Essex. We've got Nick Berry in, and we have, I said Dean, who's CPE09, I think. And you said your friend Nigel was in. I did want to say, actually,
Nigel's not just my friend. Nigel's everyone's friend.
Wayne row your boat, which is going to be known as from now on after last week's show.
I do the nicknames, remember?
Row your boat. Anyway, Wayne, sweetie darling, has made the cabinet that was up for auction or ticketed, wasn't it? Lottery this year for the
lockdown competition's done the raffle, basically.
Yeah, that's it, lockdown. Well, he's actually got a very similar one for sale. So if somebody really, 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 really wanted that, and they've got, I think, what is it, 400 and something?
It's £450. I'll bring it up so folk can have a look because I'm nice like that.
Another work of art, Wayne. So you're not in the chat at the moment, but if you listen to this back, fantastic. Derek, how is Ange? We haven't heard about Ange for a while. Let us know. Hi, Ian Smith. Dean's gone. Dean's got, who's CP30 then? I said Philip Wills.
Dean might have actually, not Dean. What's his name? Wayne might have actually sold it because it's not on his thing anymore.
Oh, really? I knew it would go. I mean, I guess he can't make these things quick enough. James is in. Hello, James. Hope you're sober. I doubt it. James and Stephen were supposed to be meeting up, I think, last week. And do you know what is nice? It is nice that as a show, we actually, a community, we bring people together. Wayne Maddox is in, and Wayne Rollins is in. He said, oi, oi, it's Wayne Wollins here, lol. Yes, thank you. I'm here, Dave, sadly.
Wayne, did you, I saw you put up today for sale the cabinet with the
Roman armor.
Did you sell it, or am I clutching at straws now? Because I sent it to Donna thinking she might blag Sir Stuart into buying it for her.
No,
probably not.
You know what? I don't think I'd go with one for the armor. I'd go with one for drawers with compartments in.
Drawers. And what you get one shark with drawers in.
Little. I like this. I like the stuff that he does with the Saxon kind of.
Oh, it's still available.
It's still available. Ooh. So, is it on your website, Wayne? Can you give us your website, please?
I can't remember where I saw it, Wayne.
No, it's beautiful. Secret drawers, yes, Philip Wills, definitely. So I can hide all my love letters in there. We didn't thank Shane for last week. We had a nice show last week with Shane talking about his book. And I know a few of you actually bought it, The History of Draycott in the Moors. And tonight's show is going to be a sort of continuation of that, we thought. We're actually going to talk about...
Donna wants to do something that we've done already. So I said no. And after the show last week, Shane was giving us an introduction into the locale of, I know he was giving Donna and Adrian a look at the locale with how he's logged everything. And it just sort of like stemmed from that, really, that it may be a good idea to have a look at the history of your site. 460, still available, also made to order. Send us the link and I'll show it on screen if you will.
Yeah, James has just said he's currently working 70 hours a week plus a master's, no time for drinking fun. It will soon be the summer, James, and it will soon be the rallies. I've gone old school tonight. I have got Malibu and pineapple with a couple of cherries in it, just for good luck. So yeah, so basically we're going to talk about landscape archaeology. We're going to talk about how to find sites.
It wasn't landscape archaeology. It was about site research.
But that is landscape archaeology. It's
not really. It's a totally different aspect. Landscape archaeology is sitting on the site yourself and looking at it and reading the site.
Yeah, same thing.
And looking at it. No, it's not. When your site research is going away and looking at all the old books and online maps and such like.
Fight. So you have to start with an idea. So basically, you're going to start with an idea of I want to search that site. What makes you want to search that site then? So it's landscape archaeology. You look at it and you think, I think there's something on there.
It's not, because how many times have you drove down the road and gone, oh, look at that field, I want to detect that field. Exactly. You just get a feeling. It doesn't matter about the landscape. It's just a field that's got low crop on.
And do you know what I wrote down here? I wrote by research or intuition. And sometimes you do actually get a real kind of feeling about a field, a place. You get a sense of place. But it's about where you actually start. And I've got Jim is going tithe maps. Yeah.
Donna,
let's have a look and admire the cabinet, please. Excuse me. Malibu is awesome, Philip Wills.
Some of his other way. Well, Wayne, we'll get you back on in a couple of weeks. I think it was either Donna or Adrian said about.
I did.
Was it you?
Yeah.
Showing you some of you currently in I've gone the wrong way. Currently in process. Have I?
You have, definitely.
Wait a minute. Where am I here now?
Oh, don't. The porn's going to come up in a minute. It's stunning.
Let's start there.
Look at that. So it's freestanding, floor standing. You get all your beautiful drawers. And I know if it's like the one that was RCM, Wayne has lined the drawers for you. So you don't just open the drawer.
Yes, he's used old newspapers from 2007. News of the World, I think. So, it's probably worth a bit as well with News of the World not being, look at that, not being available anymore.
So, Stephen Graham's actually
I'm just going to go through some of his other stuff. Look at that.
I know, look at it. That's stunning. Don't ever put on.
I know it's spelt wrong, but look at that, House of Stuart.
Yeah.
You need one of them.
But it's all the houses of houses. This is Perry on the Hammered. And it's nice that he personalizes them. So if you wanted to order something as a special gift for somebody, that's the sort of cabinet I like. But if you wanted to order something as a special gift for somebody, say somebody's got a special birthday coming up and you can't think what to get them, talk to Wayne, get them something made to order, and he can go as small as you can afford or as big as you want. And I think, you can specify what he lines it with. If you want silk, he's going to do silk. I mean, so talented. We've got two guys in here, and I'm sure everyone else has got their special skills. But we've also got Nick in here, and, Nick's, sometimes they collaborate, but, Nick's ability to create something just by looking at it, just by saying, I want to make that, and going through all the processes is incredible.
James Barnes has put landscape archaeology is field survey research, mapping, GIS, heritage management, and feminology. What's reading bumps on people's heads got to do with landscape archaeology?
Yeah, I know what you're going to say. But no, Stephen Bramer said James has got a great
I know, mate. I just like winding Donna up.
If you go to James, what's your website? But if you go to James's website, he has actually got research tools on there. So, okay. So how would you start, David?
Me?
Yeah.
I'd ring Shane up and say, where are we going detecting? Have you done the research on it, mate? And he'd say, yeah. And I'd be, nice one. Where's best detected? He'd say, over there, where that pathway was. And I'd be like, mint. And I'd go over there and I'd find coins and stuff. And then I'd go, right, okay, let me have a look at the landscape. And I'd do a bit of a landscape reading. And I'd be like, and then I'd say to Shane, I think we should concentrate there. And we'd go there And then he'd find a hoard and he'd be like, "Oh, how good are you, the landscape archaeology malarkey?" I would be like, "I know." And there you go, that's it.
Yeah, but that's it, because you can read the landscape, and that's a really important thing. You can look at maps
it is.
all day long, but transferring that to actually standing in the field is a completely different experience. You don't, I mean, even if you're looking at the map and you're looking at the various different, and what are they called? You can tell how high the ground is from looking at the map. You've got what are they called? I wanted to say isobars and now it's put me off.
Oh.
Yeah, I know. Anyway, but you can basically tell by looking at the map, those squiggly lines that go around, which say 20, 40, 80 or whatever, tell you how high or how low the land is. And I'm still thinking of isobars. The point is, they can tell you that all day long. You can look at it, but you're looking at it in 2 dimensions. When you get on the field, it's going to be completely different. It won't. It's contours. Well done. Thank you. Thank God.
Thank
Jim.
you, Kendo Max 6577 and Michael Jarvis and Jim and Phil Wells.
Yeah, I know. 50 people have said, sorry, it's either my age or
most people don't know about me, Donna, is I used to be a Cub Scout, right? Yeah. So reading maps was big for me in the good old days when computers weren't available. My dad also, we used to travel all over the UK caravanning and camping. So my dad had multiple OS maps. And unfortunately for me, I still collect old OS maps. And I've got hundreds of them from, this one I've just plucked out the cupboard to try and find what we've called is York and Selby.
I've got loads here. I've got all ages. I collect different dates.
Me too.
The maps, the OS maps, the Land Ranger ones, if you get different dates, they've got slightly different.
I've just opened the map then, and I've gone straight at it, and one of my favourite places, Marston Moor, where the Battle of Marston Moor was in the English Civil War. And the other one I picked out, because as I say, it's the British OS map for Great British Folklore and Superstition, but I couldn't see what consoles were on that.
But anyway, the point is, you can look at something in 2 dimensions, and we're going to talk about that now. But it doesn't. You have to get on the field to actually see it and try and work out where. If you have an idea that there is something going on the field, you have to get into the field to actually have a look at the way the land lies. You know, when people say, the lie of the land, or the way the land lies, to make it make sense. So first of all, we're gonna James should be on the show. Interpretation of landscape is the most important aspect of reading one's land. Absolutely true. Understand how our ancestors utilized the land is a great knowledge. And it is. And we're talking about the normal people like you and me. We're not talking about the kings and queens living in a castle. The stuff that we find out in the field is basically made up of the detritus, the stuff that normal people left behind, not of the kings and queens. You know, every now and then you are lucky you come across a really high status object, but it's not going to be very often. Excuse me. I've got a cough. Stephen said you can time travel on there too and look at your fields in different years. So they're talking about Google Earth. So I'm sure everyone in the chat has, and everyone who's watching the show has heard of Google Earth. It's easy to navigate. It's free. Download it onto your computer. You put in the search tab the place that you are interested in, and you can zoom in just like you would on Google Maps to just a satellite image. What some people don't actually know, on the taskbar in the top on the left-hand side, there's a little tiny clock, just looks like a clock, and it's called Google Back in Time. And if you click that, it will take that image that you've zoomed into of, say, your field. So say you've picked, I don't know, a place in Norfolk called Pickering, say, and you've picked Pickering in Norfolk.
Ronnie Pickering.
Pickering.
Ronnie Pickering.
Pickering. It's got it's always had like some big sort of pylon thing on it with red lights. I don't know what made me think of it, but say you picked Pickering and you're zooming into a particular field, and it's the reason I didn't put any maps up in case it's somebody else's permission. But you zoom into that field, and then you can click on Google Back in Time, and there is a time bar. And as you scroll back, you put the slider back, and it will take you through.
Donna, if you want to bring it up in a separate,
can I?
Yeah, you can bring it up in a separate. I can't remember the word is tab.
Yeah.
And then at the bottom of our screen, it'll say present or share screen or something. If
mine
you do
doesn't.
that,
oh yeah, mine does. Yeah.
If you do that, you can actually bring it up. In the meantime, while you're doing that, I'll bring mine up. So this is something I found exceptionally valuable. If you live in my area of the world, Cheshire, we've got Cheshire tide maps online, as you can see. So I've brought up now my house, which is there, William Street. And then obviously you view there, you can scroll across, you can scroll that way. Let's just have it in the middle. So zooming in, there be my house about there, as you can see. Obviously everywhere now, all the fields, but back then, even more fields, which is nice. To the point that that pathway there that you can see is actually the old railway line, which wasn't on the tide map, which I'm currently looking at, which is 1836 to 1851. But then you can go and have a look at 1875 when it was there, 1898, 1810, 1971. Where's my house then? Zoom out a little bit. Where's my house gone? There. So that behind me there, there's my house there. That building behind is an old cardboard factory. Move forward again. That's gone, and they've started building a development. 2010, the development's there. 2015 to 17, 2019 to 2021. And then obviously you've got the latest ordnance survey maps and tide maps. But on some of my personal sites, I've actually got tide maps that go way back, way back to when tide maps first began. And do you know what always astounds and amazes me? How tide maps going way back, they didn't have satellites. They didn't have going up in the air in a hot air balloon and looking down and seeing what it were. They're making maps. How are they making the maps back then? How did they make a map of the world back in?
They're measured with chains.
Yeah, it's mental, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's mental.
How
they created the original map of the British Isles.
Yeah.
Yes, well, Michael Jarvis, that is a free site. Just look for that one. It's called Cheshire Tide Maps Online. It's maps.cheshireeast.gov.uk.
There are actually more county records offices making things available online, such as tithe maps. So, I mean, and the thing is, there's a lot of people saying, oh, you know, it's so expensive, you have to join everything to see everything. It is actually free to go to. So James is saying the ADS and Heritage Gateway.
James, what's your website? Can you put that in the chat, please, James?
So what I'm trying to say is, if you go to your actual county records office, and you may have one or two in your county, you can actually see all these things in real life for free. And you will see all the research around the place. They will have books, they will have records, they will have maps. If you are a university student or you have access to a university library, they will have their own collections of maps. You can actually apply to become a member of a university library. But there are loads of, don't just think about online. Everyone just thinks about online. It's not all online. I don't actually know if I'm going to be able to share this, but I'm actually going to try. I'm going to see that one. So can you see that?
Yes.
Right, so you've got a map here, and I did pick Pickering. I've zoomed into Pickering. Can you see my cursor moving around?
Yes.
Okay, so basically you can see this is for some reason giving me directions, but right up in the top corner here, can you see this little clock? And if you look at this little clock, you get up this bar. So this bar will take me from 2025. The oldest map that is available to me is 1985. And you can see here, I've zoomed in quite close to fields. I don't know. I'm sorry if it's your permission. I hope it's not. And we're going to go back. So I can't see anything really particular. I can see something here. I can see something here. I can see something going across there. You have to, and there's something going along here, but it's literally to do with how the field boundary has been ploughed. All of these straight lines are going to be where the tractor's gone backwards and forwards. Now I'm going to click on this back arrow.
The lumps and bumps are probably glacial.
Yeah, and at this point, we don't know whether or not it's got any hills. You know, we're just looking at 2 dimensions. So you just click on the back arrow, and it will take you to, now it's 2. You can see the date just here, and this is what the area looked like in 2022. So I'm seeing a kind of a light shape here. And remember, I used to do this for a job. I used to look at maps every single day, all day long. I can see a green patch here. I can see a circle feature here, another one here. Now, they may be something, they may not be something. We keep going and see if we can see anything. And just remember, this is completely at random. So now I'm looking at this. I can see a circle feature here. Still looks like there's something here. Maybe there's something here. Can you see how there's these breaks across the tram lines that the ploughers left?
The word that you're not using yet as an archaeologist is rectilinear.
Well, yeah, but I'm saying these are tram lines here that the tractors left. You've got a rectilinear shape here and here, and then you've got some circular shapes that may or may not be something here. Nothing in this field. We've still got this weird line going across here, which is probably likely to be an old field boundary. Again, across, and you can see now, can you see that you're picking up this line that you could see on the later photographs? And this is 2020. You've got a circular feature here. Can you see that scouring? Yep. And you do have to be a little bit careful because sometimes it's just an animal feeder or where the tractor's turned round. But can you see these marks along here?
Yes. So very, very good parch marks. It must have been a dry period, though.
Yeah, they really are. And that's why they're going back in time.
And in fact, if you look at the circular ring around the tree, there's lots of pock marks on the left.
And you're in an area where there was a lot of it's dumped bombs during the war rather. So you can see it across here. You've got looks like a trackway, dark line either side of that. So it could be a field boundary, it could be a track, worth investigating. You can see another little
ditch either side,
just there. I'm still sort of seeing. Look at this. This we picked up on about the second map. Look how clear that circular feature is now, just there. That's really clear. So if you live anywhere near Pickering, have a look at these maps and see whether or not you can get permission. So we go back again. And you can see that the field shapes change. So we completely lose those parch marks that we have before. We've got a vestige of some of them. This is where the tractor has turned round here. We've got some more lines. And to me, this would look interesting to detect. We've got a circular feature appeared on this field that completely was barren before. What else have we got? I'm looking for this one down here. And I can't see it in this one, but you can see that subrectilinear feature just here that we picked up earlier. We go back again. And now you can, hello, but you can see this is where the tractor has been. And you can see, look here, that's a pylon. That's a pylon. And that's clearly another one. And
there's another one to your right.
Another one. The feature we were looking at was around here. That wasn't visible at all in that other crop mark. And you can see how the fields completely change. That just was completely blank, that field.
It wasn't. There's a tree with a circular.
Yeah. Right, go back again. Sort of the same, and some of them will come up the same. Sometimes you see little clouds, and James will laugh when you say that. You see little clouds. If you see a little cloud, the plane isn't actually flying high enough to be above the clouds. It means they're trying to cover something up that is actually there, that is important. So I'm still going back. We're back to 2017 now, so they're quite close together. Sometimes you're really lucky and you get maps going back to 1945. But you can see here, you've got this kind of weird feature here. Where we were looking at this round feature, you've got this weird sort of parched, sort of trapezoid thing going on here.
Trapezoid, that's an archaeological term.
It is, yeah. And we go back, and then you can see you've got these pylon features again. I'm still looking for this. I can
still
see
that track way down the middle. Yeah, you mentioned that from the start. Yeah,
you've got that. You've got another one there. You've got another one there. I mean, the best one was that one where it was really, really parched. So probably this is a continuation. You see where this field boundary is here?
Yeah.
This is a continuation of the old field boundary that you're picking up there. And I would guess that that is another field boundary, and that would come from a strip system. But can you see here? You've got a mark appearing here.
Yes.
Yeah. So, I mean, you're really doing what we call close looking. If I was talking about art, I would call this close looking. You can stare at these maps for ages and ages and ages, and you'll see different things. Now, you can actually go to Ordnance Survey website, and you can actually print off a free blank map, and there it's not showing you what's in 1985. Anyway, I will come out of this now. But I hope you get it. So basically, you will just put in. So what are we going to put here? We put in. We'll stick with Norfolk, and we'll put in spool now, and we'll just click that to search. So all I'm doing is putting the word into the search title. It's going to zoom in all by itself on spool, and I'm just going to click that. I've got my zoom in, and I'm going to click in. I'm going to go back to 2024. And that's going to take me all the way through back to 2024. And the 2024 will be the most recent map. And that's actually quite interesting, just being a random. See how this place has developed over a period of time. The density.
I mean, yeah, because the older pictures are sepia.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's so easy to use. It really is so easy to use. But if you were looking at a map like that, so when we get filled in ponds are green on my permission, and they would be, Jim, because it's softer soil, and when it rains, it collects more moisture just because it was a pond. And it'll refill to a certain extent, but it'll just take longer to drain, because when there was a pond, they generally use like something like puddling clay to make them hold water. So it will still hold more water than the fields around it. There are all types of reasons why you would get different color crop marks, and you could get say if you've got a stone wall going across the field, then when you have parch marks, that would be the bit that comes out really, really light. If you've got a ditch, that would be the thing that comes out really, really green. Anyway, going back to using Google Earth.
James Barnes says there are many tools out there, and most of them are free. Google Earth Pro, LiDAR,
that's what mine
Historic
is,
England, Aerial Photo Explorer, and most importantly, Aerial Archaeology Mapping Explorer.
So
he also
LiDAR,
says the ADS and Heritage Gateway are also a great source. Bear with me a minute. Bear with me.
Really
Bear with me. Wayne Rowland says Arc-Willio, which I've just actually added to my favourites, and it's nothing to do with willies, unfortunately, or fortunately. James Barnes' website is detecting-uk.com, which we'll have a look at in a moment. Metal Detecting War Relics, Nick West says, we've got some news from Nick West, by the way. National Library of Scotland Historic Maps Online covers all of the UK.
Yeah, I was going to talk about that, Nick. That's my next thing I'm going to talk about.
So to look at, I was looking at Archeo Willio first. So Archeo Willio, which is Wales. Archwilio, Historic Environment Record of Wales. So as you can see,
so that's what we call HER. We normally refer to that as HER.
So I'll go to Flintshire because that's the closest area that I know best. Oh, bloody good as well it is. And you can click on all sorts. World Heritage Sites, historic landscapes, all things battlefield. Let's put battlefield there. Look at all them. Flint Castle battlefield.
It's not showing it. It's not coming
showing
up on
what?
the screen. It's just showing the front page. No, it's not coming up.
What am I looking at?
Click into it before you share, and then it'll let you do it.
No, it's not. I know what's up with it.
Right.
Because I have to present a separate page per.
Yeah.
Archwilio.
So what I was actually.
You see that now?
Go on.
You see it now, yeah?
Yeah, I can see it now.
So I've just clicked on battlefields, and all the battlefields are shown. All the Wales. No, I don't want that one. Let's say no. World Heritage Sites. Aren't any. Historic landscapes. There you go. Hey, that's nice, isn't it?
It is nice. I think it works better than the HER, which is the
Wales
British
LiDAR.
equivalent. Yeah, that's good.
Unitary authorities.
So if you're in the Wales area or the borders, you're going to get an awful lot of information from that. I mean, it's a good thing and a bad thing that they.
If I go to, stop it, get off. Go into where my brother lives. Where's my brother live? Further here.
You find your brother's back garden.
24 Pontpine, Leeswood.
Wayne said, "Click on period." That's a massive.
Hold on, just looking for where my brother Copoyer. So that's where my brother lives in Copoyer, and so does Dave Donahue. For anyone who knows him, brother actually lives here, so I know this area here, just below New Brighton, not to be confused with the one on the Wirral. I know this is all Roman stuff there. So there you go. Shows you all that.
Can you zoom in on that map? You can zoom in on that map, so you should be able to see any crop marks.
Yeah.
So if you go right in,
yeah, but I'm just showing you what else it's offering you.
But if you go straight in, you can zoom in, and it's got Wales LiDAR. It's got the old OS, so the old OS will tell you where the Roman finds are.
I'm just showing you all these, look.
I know.
Showing you all the scheduled conservation areas, parks and gardens. So if I'm going to zoom in, where's his house? Let me find his back garden.
Anyway, James said he's working on a site currently where the farmer is using the elevation of 3 ploughed out barrows for his cattle feeders.
So that's the field at the back of my brother's house there. That one there. That's his house, I think. Or that one. That one's his house. So what do I want to look at now? LiDAR. Where's LiDAR?
Yeah, Wales LiDAR. That's it.
So he's got nothing there.
Yeah, so you can see where the house platforms are, and it's really important actually that when you get the hang of using LiDAR, that you observe a modern map and then the LiDAR, so you get the gist of where actual modern buildings are. Because, they do come up like crop marks, because obviously LiDAR can't tell the difference between what it's looking at. It's just registering a depth. Anyway, what I was trying to say earlier before Dave so politely interrupted me was, if you go to the Ordnance Survey website, you can actually download a free map. So print off a free map of anywhere you want to in the country. So, for instance, say if you're going to a rally and you know where the rally fields are, you can go to Ordnance Survey free maps and you can download a free blank map with nothing on it. Then the next step is to go and have a look at Google Back in Time, and you can plot out any crop marks you see. So look at the map like I talked you through it, the Google Back in Time, and every time you see something you think could be a feature, plot it on the map with a pencil. You don't need to rub anything out, but just plot it on the map with a pencil. And it might take you 20 minutes to really have a good close look at that map, going backwards and forwards in time and saying, yeah, that's definitely a repeating feature. That's what you're looking for. You're looking for a repeating feature. So if you've got a circular crop mark and it keeps coming up over and over again, there must be something there. You know, you could find out it's where a cattle feeder has been for the last 50 years. But the point is, there's something that's been there for a long time to make that crop mark. And you plot it on your map. You can draw it on your map because you've got a free map that you've just printed off. And then you can go to another amazing site that somebody's mentioned. I think it was Nick. Quest Britannia. Yeah, they're called meres. He said the ponds are called meres. Not in all areas, Stephen. Meres can be big or small. In the Fens, meres were actually massive Great Lakes. In Norfolk, they're smallish sort of lakes or ponds. It's something that holds water, basically, a natural thing that holds water, not man-made. Anyway, so if you go to something called the National Library of Scotland, and you can find it, I think it's nls.org, and you do exactly the same thing. It's a little bit tricky to use because they've put so many features on it now, but all you need to do is put in the name of the place you want to search. So type it in the search bar, and you'll get a base map come up, which is a little bit like your general Google map. And what you need to do is put in the sidebar on the right, if you choose history, in the sidebar, or historic maps, I think, in the sidebar on the right, it will come up every single map that they hold, all the Ordnance Survey maps, all the railway planning maps, anything that they hold that relates to that site. And you can actually bring it up like you would bring up GIS. So if everyone knows what GIS means, GIS is where you can actually layer. It's a type of program where you can actually layer different layers.
Does it stand for Gatto is sexy?
Probably in your case, yeah. I can't remember what it's called. James will know exactly what it's called. But it's basically you can layer maps one on top of the other. So you can actually see your mod map underneath, which will put you on the ground. And then you can look at the earliest Ordnance Survey map. And some of the early Ordnance Survey maps actually say Roman site or Roman coin found. That will take you, if they're finding finds there in the 19th century, then you need to go and have a look at your, for British people, you've got different databases. So we've looked at the Welsh one with Dave. That's what we would call the Historic Environment Record in England. I don't know what the one in Scotland is called. All you need to type in is HER for England. Again,
Geographic Information System.
There you go. And so NLS actually lets you tilt as well. It lets you put coloration in and features in the landscape that gives you an idea of, so it lets you do shading, but it gives you an idea of ground height as well. But when we're talking about the HER, exactly
James
like
says you can use GIS overlay any map on any number of maps.
Yeah, you can, but on some programs you have to stretch it, James, and I think NLS just does it automatically. So you don't have to kind of stretch the layer over the base layer. Dave said, do as you're told. But the HER, all you do is put in the name of the place you want to have a look at. Never used to have a map. It does now. And all you do is choose what you want to show on the map. If you want to show listed buildings, you can show that. If you want to show scheduled ancient monuments, you can click a bar to show that. If you want to show finds, historic finds, you can show where people, and this is what has always worried me about Portable Antiquities Scheme, because if you found something and you've reported it to your flow, that will appear on the HER. automatically. So basically, find spots appear on the HER historically. Yeah, good one.
That was everybody else. What I wanted to mention before about Nick West, he sent me a message earlier. He would like to share the news that the Military Heritage Museum has been left a collection that has taken 78 years to collect.
Oh my God.
From the Battle of Waterloo and the Battle of Naseby in Yorkshire from 1645 to name but a few.
Oh my God, Nick, congratulations. Isn't that wonderful? Did you know that was going to happen?
They are now starting to do school visits as well, so kids can handle history.
Fantastic. That's so important. And do you know what? With bringing history to life for children, that is infectious. If you show children finds and you let them handle finds, you are forming the basis of an understanding that will continue for life.
As Adrian and Julian found last year when they went to school.
Yeah. I mean, we've done a couple of, 3 school digs. We do heritage kind of exhibitions. And it's all about giving people or children the opportunity to touch real things. It blows their minds. No, that's brilliant. So
this is the ever so lovely Mr. James Barnes website called
it's amazing.
-uk.com. And this is the homepage about that's his very famous bicycle.
Yeah, I've got a bike.
Does a bit of drone malarkey as well, and he's got all these metal detecting things. But he's got a page on how to research. So you've got links to different maps, the National Library of Scotland, Historic England, Aerial Archaeology Mapping Explorer, which he mentioned earlier, Aerial Photography Explorer, Heritage Gateway, LiDAR Mapping, GIS use, and plus
there used to be
house prices.
I don't know if there is, but there used to be, and there's loads of maps. If you're looking for anywhere, there's loads of maps. But there used to be Google access to old maps. And if you type in Google old maps, I'm not sure if it's still operational because it used to be free. But it would take you back to where, and they did it with old books as well, where there was a whole project to scan just thousands of books that were out of print. So really ancient books. And I'm pretty sure I know they did it with maps, but I'm not sure whether it's free anymore. James Barnes said the house prices is a LiDAR site. Yeah, James, that was the first one I think that was accessible, that was free, but there are several more now. Nick, you didn't say whether you knew about that bequest or not.
So what you mentioned before about the aerial archaeology mapping site.
Google Earth.
Stop that. No, this is actually the site that you mentioned earlier, aerial archaeological mapping.
Right, the one that
I don't know how to use it because I've never used it before. But again, there's where I live.
Well, you've got a search bar in the top on the left-hand side, so just type in what you want to see in the search bar.
Yeah, I've found where to live. I'm just trying to find out what I do on here.
Controls on the left. Zoom in.
Oh, yeah, I've done that. I've done that, but how do you look at other stuff?
Oh, James will give you a lesson. You've got a little house. You got back.
I think we're going to have to get that young Mr. Thingy to come on the show and walk us through that.
He does the advancing. Yeah, well, NLS can do that sometimes. The National Library of Scotland used to be so straightforward, and now they've put so many different options and layers on it. It's a little bit harder to navigate. Just fiddle about with it until you get it right, and it's free. If he said zoom out, James said zoom out.
I've come off now. I was more interested in house prices being a LiDAR site. I thought it'd be like
no, that's
house
where
prices.
They actually hid LiDAR in there. Oh, so Nick said they didn't know that they were going to get the bequest. Nick, you must have been blown away. It's happened to us with the Soho Museum once. where somebody actually left us quite a lot of money. But oh my God, how terrific. I can't wait. I hope you put together a little book or a pamphlet
I'll leave
on your website of some of the stuff you've got.
Late Victorian codpiece.
But Battle of Waterloo, oh my God, I mean, that's a really valuable collection.
Couldn't escape if you wanted to.
You couldn't, no, it's true. What's the great
James says, zoom into red areas. Not all areas are done yet.
Okay, so it's in the early stages of processing. Anyway, so
some other bits and bobs I wanted to give mention to as well tonight. Legend 2 has started shipping this week or this past week.
And
being promoted on the different sales companies' websites and such like social media. The Vanquish 60 range is now also available. And there was a new Minelab Gold machine, which I will attempt to bring up.
Well, they've called it GPZ. Everyone who's a biker knows what a GPZ 1000 is, or GPZ 900. But Minelab GPZ 8000. It's mainly for the Australian market, but it's a gold prospecting machine. Do you know what annoyed me is? It's blue. It's Lego blue. Not sure. You said it's because it's easier to find when you drop it in the desert.
Yeah, but I was just being a prick.
Pardon?
So I was being a prick. So this is the video for said new Minelab machine. Can you hear that?
Yeah.
GPZ 8000 flagship gold detector.
Will you dare to redefine what's possible? What place drives you to rise? Gear up and chase the next hunt. A place calling for finds that shape legends, fill jars, and gold that turns heads at the scale. Alone, with the ground that responds only to you. And never runs out of promise.
Wow.
See through the ground and sweep the earth clean. The world narrows to each
think when
slow
they're using
sweep
this on
until
Aussie
one
gold
signal
hunters,
cuts through the noise.
it'll have the same
The
stock
sound that
noises
tells
as
you
it
to
does
dig.
now, or will it actually have
It drops
the
you to
noise
your
of
knees.
what the machine is?
And gives you the find that tells you to keep going.
Stock noise.
I mean, it's a neat
Every
bit of
show,
kit.
every machine.
Because with the GPZ 8000,
Does
the hunt is far from finished, and the
It's
ground
because you
begs
wear
to be
headphones.
broken. The world is calling.
Yeah. How did he
So
have headphones
answer.
on? That noise is being made then.
Exactly, but they don't understand that when they're making it. I mean that if you are a gold prospector, that looks like a really interesting piece of kit. And I thought I hadn't seen it before because you kept sending me links that didn't work. But the fact
No, I
that
wasn't sending them for you. I sent them to Adrian.
no.
I was sending the screenshots for you because you're things.
Yeah, but that's frustrating because I click on it and nothing happens. But the two handle thing, that's just random. Two shafts. I mean, Adrian would be in his element. Yes, Kevin Allen.
Kevin Allen went out with the Legend 2 for the first time and got a Roman coin in his third hole.
That's fantastic. And I bet it's like a party animal, Kevin. I still love taking my Legend out. I still think the Legend is a brilliant machine. I mean, it's my backup, right? It is my backup, but it just does the business. It's fun.
Stephen, thanks for the compliment.
God, it's massive. You're right. It is massive. Don't repeat what you said at RCM. And James Barn is calling it the Dunny detector. For yours for only, Wayne says yours for only $6,500. Ha ha ha! Jesus, that looks like a petrol strimmer. It really does. Stephen, you said I find gold with my quest. I'll stick with that. Absolutely. And Ellie found gold last week. Our favourite Miss Detectorist actually found a quarter noble. And she couldn't believe it. The video is so funny. So have a watch of it because she literally couldn't believe it. I think she was at East of England rally. She had to be told about 15 times that she'd found gold.
And this is the ad for the new Vanquish 60 series.
Introducing the Vanquish 60 series. Fully waterproof to perform in wet sand and shallow water. Constructed to maintain clarity when mineralization is high and crafted to deliver clean signals where conditions shift fast. Engineered to hold stability across all ground. Ready to push your search farther? This is the Vanquish 60 series.
Which looks very much like an X-Terra.
But I'm interested to see how that performs because...
Well, if it's anything like the Vanquish 540, which I've got here...
Yeah, I know, people loved it. People loved it.
Simple to use, found in everything. Didn't have to mess about with settings.
Jim said he wished he hadn't sold his Legend. Jim, I told you at the time, you weren't listening. I said, do not sell it. Many regrets. And they're still expensive machines. You know, they're holding their value. Kevin said he's got to get used to his settings on the Legend too, but it's going to be a great machine. I absolutely believe it. Oh, congratulations, Derek. Got his first Roman with his Days 2 last Sunday. Well done. Absolutely brilliant. Now, going back to landscape archaeology, I was going to tell you about clues. So, you know, we all know when we get a feeling, or sometimes we just get a permission that we want to investigate. And you can go down the maps route, you can search for the LiDAR, you can go to the records office, you can do all kinds of things. But if you are speculating, we all know what speculating means. Where do you start? So if you're looking for a new permission, you think, oh, do you know what? I'd love to find a site that has got stuff on. Where do we start, David?
I ring up Shane and I say to him, where are we going detecting this weekend? And he says, right, we're going here. And I'll say, Mint, have you done any
I think research? I just pressed the repeat
button.
Will
say, yeah, I've done some research and the best place to go is here. And I'll go to that said location and I'll have a bit of a play and I'll find some stuff. And then I'll turn around and I'll gaze upon the landscape and mull and ruminate. And then I'll say, Shane, have a look over there. You see that flat bit there? That's the road or something like that. And he'll go, really? Well, yeah. And you can say, and I'll explain to it. And then we'll go over to it and find a hoard.
Yeah.
So generally like that, really.
So that's the bit of landscape archaeology. So that's when you're on a field. So when you're on a field, look at it. Lay down and have a look at it. Squat down and have a look at it. Look at the lumps and the bumps. If it's a dead flat field, you've got a bit of a problem, but look where it is in the landscape. You know, do other fields join onto it? Is there a trackway that just stops at it? What is going on around it? You can see that from standing in the field. You know, if it's just a massive Great East Anglian field that's about 100 acres and you've got all the field boundaries line up, you know, you could find something, you might not find something. If you
Stephen Brame, sorry to interrupt. Stephen Brame, yes, there's one in June on the Ministry Detect Facebook page in Yorkshire.
Jim's asked, where can I find farmers' names? Okay, so if you know that you have a piece of land, you can go to the land registry. You have to pay, or what you can do is you can actually search postcodes for an address rather than a name. But do you know what I'm going to suggest? And this is the most random.
What I've done in the past, Donna, if you know the name of the farm, Google it, and you'll probably find the details.
You will. You can write to. There are lists of, if you do farms in my area.
No. If you live at Croxteth Abbey Farm, I'll put Croxteth Abbey Farm in,
and it'll come
give
up.
you the address details and phone number,
but if
contact details,
you're speculating, if you put into Google farms in my area, a list of farms will come up anyway. So you can speculate that way. But farmers' names, the best thing to do, people just don't. You've got legs, go for a walk. My cousin,
Jim's old.
When my cousin first started,
and he hasn't got any legs.
When my cousin first started detecting,
nasty, really. Sorry, Jim.
When my cousin first started detecting, he was really inexperienced. He didn't really know how to approach people. He liked walking. He just started going for walks, looking at fields, thinking, "Oh, I'd love to detect on that. I'd love to detect on that." And as he was walking the country lanes, he'd bump into somebody walking the dog, and he'd say, "Oh, do you know who owns that?" And they'd say, "Oh, 2 fields across, there's a farmhouse." And he'd literally go for a walk. He bumped into people several times, and I've done it myself, where I've literally bumped into somebody, got talking to him, and they're like, "Oh yeah, I own the land over there." But he got about 5 decent permissions, literally just by going for a walk. So it's worth going for a walk. But yeah,
there's one thing that I think is very important when it comes to sites. What you'll most find is that a lot of fields will have names, either names given to them by the farmer or names that pre-exist on their documents of when they bought the site.
Tithe maps, especially.
For instance, I've got a site which one of the fields is called Castlefield. And automatically we think, "Ooh, it's a castle there," or "was a castle there." And I've searched and searched and searched for evidence of there being a castle there previously. I've searched and searched in said field. I've not found any evidence. I was actually given permission to do a archaeological test pit on a bump there, which didn't get round to, unfortunately. But the likes of that being called Castlefield, it must be called Castlefield for a reason. Is there another meaning to the word castle in Old A English?
There is.
Which is?
There is, and I can't, it's on the tip of my tongue, I can't remember, but there is, and it's like homestead.
It's not like Cunnilingus.
No, it is like homestead, but it is a higher kind of ranking.
When you said
homestead,
on the tip of your tongue.
But it's not a castle. Shush now. Gareth said his motorised wheel finds the muddy lanes leading up to farmers' houses treacherous. Wayne said, "What do other councils do with their small holding farms? Anglesey Council have just started with a small fee for anyone to detect their farms, providing you can show them insurance, etc. Handy to know if you're," he says down here, I'm saying up there, Wayne, but if you're across Anglesey this year.
Hoping to this year.
Yeah. John Clayton says, "My Legend 1 is ill. I think I will have to buy a new one or just get the Legend 2. John, take it back to the manufacturer or the dealer and say, "My Legend is broken," and they may well get it fixed for you. Derek said he was contemplating selling his Legend, beginning to wonder if he should keep it. Absolutely, Derek. Absolutely brilliant backup machine. And you're never going to not go out and have fun with that. Put it in M3, detect all day long, little coil, you'll have a whale of a time. James said historic villages, churches try to get out of fields around such areas. Yeah, I mean, it's an obvious one, James. If you see a manor house or a church, it'd be great to get the fields around that. So what I was going to try and talk about, and what Dave's just touched on, was when you are looking at the names of fields, you can find them mostly on tithe maps or local maps at your library, which will be land exchange maps and things like that. Sometimes they appear on the OS, not so much in modern days, but the field names change over time. Try and get back to the earliest map you possibly can get back to. But if you are speculating, have a look in general at the field names or the titles of the area. So say you're looking at a village and the village title will make up a name, say Latham. Don't know where that came from, but say Latham. And we look at this place and it's called Old Latham. Well, why is it called Old Latham? Well, for start off, we know that it's going to be Saxon. That's yummy. Who's done that?
Wayne Rowlands.
Wayne Rowlands has done that. Oh, look at that. I love that. I want one of those, definitely.
It's even got a decanter in the bottom and some glasses.
Oh, has it got gin in it? I love it. If it's got gin in it, I'll have it. Bottle of Hendrix. Nice bottle of Hendrix with nothing in. Don't give me any flavoured gin. Gordon's will do. Don't give me any flavoured gin, like it pure as, or Sipsmiths. Anyway, so going back to this. We found a place. It's called Latham. We know Ham is Saxon, so it's going to suggest a town. And it's Great Latham. Now, why is it called Great Latham and not Latham? It would imply that there is another Latham in the area. There is such a thing as village shift. There were villages that shrunk and disappeared and cropped up somewhere else. There were villages that were big and then sort of split into two. So they started out with multiple settlements rather. You could have upper and lower. And you might just still have upper and there's no lower anymore. You're looking for where that other village is. So if it's prefixed with a title, it could be called Little. The other thing you're looking for in the fields, I mean, north or south is another one. I've written a few down here. Tong, Ton and Ing. We know they're Viking. But that will give you a clue to what you could find in the area for sure. But just have a look at these prefixes to names and the suffixes to names. So the prefixes will tell you what kind of settlement it is. The suffixes will tell you what kind of things you might actually find there. But the other things to look at, go to the early Ordnance Survey map. So I think it's 1880. I should know that off the top of my head. James will put me right. But go to the earliest Ordnance Survey map that you can for the site that you are looking at or near to where you live or where you're speculating. And look at things like dead ends and crossroads. There is absolutely no reason why there should be a dead end. A road or a lane or a track always led to somewhere. We know that when roads were adopted and surfaced and tarmacked, that not all of them were taken into the National Road Network scheme. So we know that there are things called byways that are basically lanes and tracks that were once actually used as main roads. We know there were drovers' roads and things like that, where people drove animals. There were commercial routeways that were different to walking routeways, and especially in Roman times, you had various different levels. You had military roads, you had commercial roads, and you had peasants' kind of roads. So some of these actually kind of go out of use, and you end up with a dead end. You know, it didn't go any further than this field. Well, what's in the field? Why does it come to a dead end? You can't have a dead end to a road unless it led somewhere. Same it comes to mind for crossroads. So if you have a crossroads in the middle of nowhere, why have you got a crossroads? The roads don't need to cross at that point because the roads all go to somewhere. And if you're thinking about people, so you always have to think of how settlements are laid out, that people started out having to, generally a lot of people couldn't afford a horse. They were mostly walking from place to place. So you would have a settlement probably within 2 to 4 miles of another settlement. When you're talking about Roman settlements, your settlements are going to be between 6 and 8 miles apart. There's always going to be a stopping point 6 or 8 miles apart. Same as on canals, Dave, as you were talking about. Every 7 miles, you'll find a pub. You'll find something to service the boating community because they had to stop. They couldn't, that's as much as they could do in a day. So you're looking at patterns in the landscape. And if you see a gap, and that's why we started out, and you poo-pooed it, David, poo and poo, but we started out talking landscape archaeology. If there's a gap,
I was taking the whittle.
But if there's a gap, unless there's a big old mountain in the way, what is in that gap? There should be something there. If there's a dead end, why does the road stop? There should be something there. A T-junction, a crossroads, there should be something there. That's where you should be looking. I hope that's useful. It never fails. It never fails to find you a site. Think about where you've got a lane or a trackway that's well established. Where does it come from and where does it go to? And along that lane or trackway, every 2 to 4 miles, there should be something. When we were looking at Shane's stuff last week after the show, it was really easy to see from where the old trackways were, where he should have a site. And he's now got to go back and have another look. I was able to discover from his maps and tell him, no, go back there, grid it. What you're looking for is going to be in that place. But close looking is the key. And, I'm not bossing you about people's. We've got cool thanks, Dave. Nobody said thanks to Donna. Anyway, your turn, Dave.
Sorry, you're going to let me speak. Stephen Brame says Kirk means church. Look at old names. Sometimes burials on crossroads.
Yeah.
James Barnes, a very important one for those who don't realise. On drove roads, detect along the bank, not the hollow. That was for the cattle.
Yeah.
Wayne Rowland says if anyone wants to join him on a 260-mile walk this year, feel free to contact him on 07359 306 457 for more info. All money raised will be for the Rodney Cook Memorial Charity Detecting Events and also Macmillan Cancer. John Clayton, he is having issues with his leg end. He's just had it fixed out of warranty, but it's still not right. Keeps chattering after you put the program in.
Is it set right, John? I know if you've got it back, I don't know who you took it to, but get them to set it up for you. Knock it down to M3 and just see if it becomes more stable, because they might have just put an update in that you're not used to.
Burn means stream.
It does.
That's generally Scottish. Burn and Kirk are Scottish words, aren't they?
Yeah, they are Scottish words. And you'll find there are very localised words that you'll find popping up in certain areas. And
it's like in the north, nobody in the south calls the alleyway between your two houses or the little road up the back between terrace streets a ginnel. Stephen Brame a ginnel. Stephen Brame will call it a ginnel.
That must come from gunnel.
Stephen Brame will call it a ginnel, probably, hopefully. But everybody will have a different word for different things. That it's like book and book.
You're never going to live that. I tell you what, my friend was from Yorkshire, and we brought our kids up together, and she came round one afternoon and she said, "Oh, we've just been to the Duck." And it's, what are you talking about? What's the Duck? We've just been to feed the duck.
Alexa, how do you say book?
Oh, don't start again. No. Oh, Andrew
John
says...
Clayton Andy T said, have you tried a different coil on it?
Shouldn't make any difference. It will either be their program. He's put a new program in and it's just run a bit too hot. Just knock it down into M3, and if it doesn't stabilise, take it back. It can be called a snicket. Oh, yes. I love that word, Stephen. I love that word. So is that a back alley? Sounds rude. But
in Ellesmere we called it the passage or the back passage.
Yeah, I get that. And in terrace houses, you always had an alleyway or a back passage.
Stephen Brame's turned Alexa off tonight. Funny story. After last week's show, when Adrian said to everybody to set the Alexa set alarm for 2:45 a.m., he forgot, didn't turn it off, and the current Mrs. Gayla, the housing manager, woke him up saying, Adrian, what's that noise? And Alexa was playing an alarm at 2:45 in the morning.
Yeah, it serves him right. Absolutely serves him right.
Kevin Allen's did as well.
I would never do anything like that. That's so
Adrian
mean.
would.
I don't. We've got a friend
I'm just going to send a picture of that to Adrian.
We've got a friend who's got a Kiri Siri, and he got so paranoid because she basically started to find out about his life and recommending things to him that she thought he'd like. It's exactly the same. I've got I call it a Spong, but it's a little iPad, and it picks up what you're talking about, and you know it does. You absolutely know it does. So Stuart is a big fan of a young lady called Salma Hayek. And if you say Salma Hayek, it will actually send him pictures of Salma Hayek. I think he's a member of her fan club, actually. Oh, Gareth said his nana had a lot of trouble with fly tippers down her back passage. We've got about 10 minutes left, guys. Does anyone want to ask us a question? I mean, the next step to all of this is asking for permissions. How do you do that? You can write to people, enclose a stamped addressed envelope, do it old-fashioned.
Which Tony Kaywood has absolutely raked in loads of sites from doing that.
Yeah. You can, like I say, go for a walk and talk to people. If you're going to call at a farm, just make sure you don't call at a mealtime. You know, think about your farmer. He's been slogging it out since about 6 a.m, and you turn up when he's just about to sit down to his dinner. You know, be a little bit more thoughtful. He's going to be back in his yard round about 3 o'clock in the afternoon, 2-3 o'clock. You'll find him in his yard.
So if you get there for about 5 and you get 5 in the morning, you can head him off before he goes to the. Oh, look, he's Andrew T.
Of course you did, Andrew. I met Salma Hayek at my airport lounge, and she gave me her boarding card from the previous journey. Did she kiss you, Andrew? So Stuart's going to be so jealous.
In my head, she's kissing. Yeah.
I bet she was lovely. So Stuart thinks I'm the English version of Salma Hayek. Apparently she learnt it from me, but anyway, I'm saying nothing. No, apparently.
Have you not seen Salma Hayek? Another funny story. And I can't pull it up at the moment. I asked I asked AI to do a Mount Rushmore picture of me, Shane, Adrian, and Donna. And it was fantastic. It was really good.
Yeah,
animated, not animated. What's the word? Not animated. Cartoon-like image of myself and Adrian and Shane and some other man.
Man is the operative word.
Find that now.
Do you know why? It's because AI says wearing a peak cap, right? Must be a bloke. With blokes must be a bloke. It's AI's thickage.
I won't have to find that.
I like the fact when I put it into Do British Royalty, Adrian came out as Elizabeth I. Andrew T said she smells of smoke, heavy smoker, but she looks gorgeous.
Derek, Google it.
The
Google it.
You'll
thank us, Salma.
And Derek said, "Who's Salma Hayek?" Derek, I just think honestly, you've been either
Derek. You'll in your mind, you may even think of her above Ange for 7 minutes or so later, perhaps.
James said some landscapes look like they should be great for detecting. That would be Salma Hayek. Remember, if it's very remote, a good chance it had very little human activity. Avoid hillscapes, moorland, and areas that have no villages close by. Nah, not great advice, James. Be clever about it. Look for the roads and the routeways. Follow the road. Always follow the road. If you've got a hillscape, you could say that about the Malvern Hills. You could say that about the moors where Stephen Brome goes out detecting all the time. People still live there. You know, you're thinking about, unless it's on a side of a mountain, it's very steep. And even then, people still live there. But just follow the routeways. Look at Google Earth. See where people were moving around. And, you know, where you've got big open landscapes, like on the moors, there's a chance you've got lead mines and things like that. Oh God, here we go. Sorry.
So I screenshot this image last week and said, AI, please could you turn this into a what have I called it? Photograph of
Mount Rushmore.
A Mount Rushmore. Look at that. Me, Adrian, Shane, and Mr. Martin.
I look exactly like an old gamekeeper we used to know. And say old, he was 33 at the time, but we were very young. There you go. That's going to be me in about another 20 years' time, I think. What did I say? I said Adrian looks like he's about to say something really important.
And then
Shane just looks like
Adrian sent this. And then Donna sent that.
Pie and mash that I made, yeah.
And then Donna sent this, which
that's
was
much better.
Wrong.
That was Viking
then
Princesses.
She sent that. And then Adrian sent this.
This is our lives, ladies and gentlemen. We do apologise.
And then he sent a fantastic picture of his son, Tom. He's been writing a bit of graffiti with chalk on the wall.
Yep. And that word means lady parts.
No, it's not. It's short for requiem.
No, it's...
and then Donna sent a picture of a fridge freezer.
Oh, that's my dead fridge freezer.
And another picture of a new fridge freezer.
My new one. Yeah. I've had no dinner today because I've got no food. Just literally got no
Sorry,
food.
Ange.
Oh, Ange says she's going to punch your lights out when she next sees you. Talking heads, this is the road to nowhere would contradict that statement, Donna. Yes, well, it's never the road to nowhere, Gareth, and remember that. A road will always go somewhere. It's always going to go somewhere. Otherwise, what is the point?
Right. It's nearly that time.
It is.
We are waiting for two people to get back to us, which are guests that we'd like to get on sooner rather than later. So we tried to keep the calendar open for them both.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, one is exceptionally busy at the moment, and we've not had a response, although we know we will.
I've got a good idea as well for another one.
And the other one are in Australia. I'm just waiting for them because they're going to have to stay up until silly o'clock or get up at silly o'clock to do the show.
But it is the big detecting show, you know?
It is the big detecting show. And we are that big that we have people from all over the world. And we do have other people lined up as well. But in particular, we are waiting for them two guests to give us a date. In the meantime, we will try and fill in as best we can.
Well, with
in the middle,
topics.
We do have, if not topics, we have other people lined up that have said they'll come on at short notice. So I am sort of waiting for the last minute. Like tonight's show wasn't so much rushed as I was expecting a response for the guest this week, but unfortunately that didn't happen. So as I say, we do have a raft of guests coming up. If any of you do want to join us on the show, it's Donna. If any of you would like to join us on the show, please feel free to contact me direct, Adrian direct, or maybe not Donna because she'll keep you talking all day, unfortunately. Or contact us through thebigdetectiveshow.com, which is our website. Press the contact button on there and Adrian will get it because it doesn't work on my phone again.
Wayne referred to the Mount Rushmore picture as that's the dream team. There you go. You smashed it. Me as an old gamekeeper and
dreams and nightmares too.
You looked like you'd literally just eaten the whole bakery full of cakes. Shane just looked like Shane.
Problem with that.
Adrian looked like
Adrian, but his jowls were a bit bigger. Shane had aged about 25 years, and I just ate a lot of cake.
Adrian looked important. You actually looked younger. I don't know how that worked.
Your sex change has completed.
Well, I was always a tomboy. I was always talking. Oh, well, James is arguing with me now, saying a great walk if you want to avoid fines. Well, James, you know better. You don't.
Yes, so as you can see at the bottom, Ian Smith, James Barnes, and Wayne Rowlands have all said they're available anytime. Do appreciate that.
They are, yeah.
I do also need to arrange with Nick Berry as well. As promised, come on the show, even though he's shy.
Nick's going to come and talk to me about art.
So if he's talking to Donna about art that night, I will go and get in my car and find the hose pipe, and I don't know what'll happen then.
Why is he Nick Berry art? We've got to talk about how he makes things and his thought process.
But you might end up talking about art, like Tate Gallery crap.
No, we won't talk about conceptual art and all of that. No. We
can
talk about it if you like.
It's that time of the night where I give everybody's ears a rest and let them go and mellow out for an hour, but you'll go to bed with Donna still ringing in your ears. But thank you very much,
so
Lady
nice.
Martin.
It was nice of me to come on tonight. I'm just saying, well, I've been moving furniture around. I haven't had any dinner. I'm drinking 1980s drink.
And? I need to poo. I've needed to poo for the past hour and a half. I'm still sat here without pooing. And I've had 2 poo made in Scotland from girders. Right. Thank you all for joining us as ever. And thank you, Donna. And we will see you at the same time and the same place next week. Have a great weekend. Hope you all find lots of things detecting if you are out. Ta-ta.
Yeah, soggy here, but have fun. Happy detecting, babies.